It happens quietly, invisibly, and far too often. Somewhere between your bedroom and your kitchen table, your brain may be experiencing a stroke warning sign, and you don't even know it. In fact, 8 out of 10 seniors unknowingly step into a danger zone each morning, thinking their routine is perfectly healthy. But according to Dr. Henry Caldwell, a neurologist with decades of experience in elderly care, it's often those normal habits that are silently setting us up for something devastating. This isn't fear-mongering. It's elderly wisdom, the kind that could spare you or a loved one from a future you never saw coming. Take the case of Ellen Montgomery. At 66, she was the image of a healthy retiree. A former high school counselor, she practiced yoga, ate well, and took her medications with discipline. Yet one Tuesday morning, she collapsed next to the stove. Her husband found her disoriented, struggling to form words, her right hand too weak to grip the countertop. By the time the ambulance arrived, her symptoms had mostly faded. But Dr. Caldwell knew exactly what had happened. A transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. A rehearsal for something far more severe. What made Ellen's case so alarming wasn't her condition. It was how familiar it was. The habits she described in her morning routine were painfully common among seniors. Routines that seemed harmless. Routines that had become second nature. And yet, they were putting her brain at risk every single day. As Dr. Caldwell explains, the first 2 hours after waking up are the most vulnerable window for the aging brain. It's when your blood pressure surges, your heart rate speeds up, and your blood becomes thicker than it was during sleep. The transition from rest to wakefulness isn't gentle, it's jarring. And for those over 60, whose blood vessels are no longer as flexible as they once were, this morning surge can be too much to handle. The American Heart Association has shown that stroke rates peak between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. That means that your seemingly peaceful morning may actually be the most dangerous part of your day. This is where elderly wisdom becomes more than just advice. It becomes survival. So how do we protect ourselves? How do we turn a time of risk into a time of healing? It starts with awareness. It starts with understanding that your home should be your sanctuary, not a silent threat. And in a lifestyle that values clutter-free living and senior home safety, it's not just about how you organize your space. It's about how you organize your time, especially those precious moments after you open your eyes. Dr. Caldwell began working closely with Ellen to redesign her morning from the ground up. What they discovered, together, has changed the lives of hundreds of his patients. The first major shift? How she got out of bed. Ellen used to pride herself on efficiency. The alarm would ring, and within seconds, her feet were on the floor. She thought it was a sign of discipline. But she didn't know that this sudden transition, what doctors call orthostatic hypotension, can cause a dangerous drop in blood pressure. For up to 15 seconds, the brain may not receive enough oxygen, causing dizziness, blurred vision, and sometimes blackouts. It was more than just a head rush. It was her brain crying out for help. Dr. Caldwell introduced what he calls the 90-second rule. When you first wake, take 10 seconds for deep breathing. Then spend 20 seconds gently flexing your hands and ankles. Follow that with 20 seconds sitting up in bed, slowly adjusting. And finally, 40 seconds with your feet on the floor, giving your circulatory system time to catch up before standing. This small act, a 90-second pause, helped Ellen eliminate the morning dizziness she had accepted as a normal part of aging. It wasn't aging. It was a warning. What we often dismiss as just getting older is sometimes our body giving us a clue. Clues that need to be noticed before they become consequences. Morning routines can either nourish or deplete us. And in a world where senior decluttering rules are about more than just donating old shoes or clearing a closet, We must also declutter our habits, gently removing what no longer serves us. That's the foundation of a truly healthy aging lifestyle. Your first hour awake sets the tone for your entire day. And if you're over 60, that hour could be your most critical investment, more valuable than any breakfast bar or vitamin supplement. It's not about rushing. It's about restoring. It's about giving your brain the time and space it needs to function fully, without chaos or shock. This is more than medical advice. This is the kind of elderly wisdom that invites you to live deliberately, to live well, and to protect the independence you've worked so hard to keep. The way you wake up tomorrow could either protect your mind or place it at risk. And the best part? You're in control. You just have to choose differently. Let's keep going. There's more you need to know. Ellen's story didn't end with how she got out of bed. In fact, her second most dangerous habit was something she, and so many others, had been proud of. Starting the day with a big, bold mug of black coffee. No water. Just coffee. Now, we've all heard how coffee can kickstart your day. It's comforting. It's energizing. But for seniors, especially those focused on maintaining a healthy aging lifestyle, there's a crucial step that must come before caffeine hydration. You see, after 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your body wakes up slightly dehydrated. That's true for everyone. But in older adults, dehydration has a much greater impact. The blood becomes thicker. Circulation slows. And when you add caffeine to that equation, which naturally narrows your blood vessels and spikes your heart rate, the result is a perfect storm. Dr. Henry Caldwell remembers another patient, Roger, age 71, a retired engineer who thought he was living clean, exercising daily, eating what he thought was heart-healthy food, and starting each day with 2 cups of black coffee. But every morning, his heart would race so fast it frightened him. When he finally sought help, it wasn't his heart that was the problem. It was his hydration. Dr. Caldwell ran a simple test. Roger's blood viscosity, how thick his blood was, showed signs of sluggish flow, especially early in the day. His heart wasn't malfunctioning. It was simply working overtime to pump syrup-thick blood through stiff arteries, all before breakfast. The solution? Simple. Transformational. Start every morning with 1 glass of room-temperature water. Just 240 milliliters. Not ice cold. Not flavored. Just water. If you want to go further, add a pinch of sea salt or a splash of lemon to aid absorption. Within a week, Roger's heart had stopped racing. His mind felt clearer. And he said something that stuck with Dr. Caldwell. I didn't realize how tired my brain felt every morning until it stopped feeling that way. This small act of hydration may sound trivial, but for those practicing elderly wisdom, it's a cornerstone habit. It's a reminder that the smallest shift can create the biggest ripple in our day. Why does this matter so much in the bigger picture? Because every drop of hydration supports blood flow to your brain. And better blood flow means better cognitive function, better balance, and sharper memory. It's also one of the simplest changes you can make within a clutter-free living mindset. No new supplements, no expensive equipment. Just you, a glass of water, and a choice. And speaking of choices, what comes next in your morning is just as important. Ellen, like many others, believed she was eating a healthy breakfast. Her go-to? Instant oatmeal, a slice of whole grain toast. Maybe a bit of deli turkey on the side. It sounded innocent. Smart, even. But when Dr. Caldwell looked deeper, he saw the problem: sodium. Hidden sodium is one of the sneakiest culprits in the modern senior diet. Many prepackaged healthy breakfast items are loaded with it. Instant oatmeal? 250 milligrams per packet. Toast? Another 150. Turkey slice? Easily 200. That's over 600 milligrams of sodium before 9 a.m. What does that mean for your brain? Sodium stiffens blood vessels. It narrows them, raises pressure, and creates resistance. In the first hours of the day, when your arteries are already adjusting from a night of low pressure, this spike can be the final straw. Dr. Caldwell worked with another patient, Doris, 73. Her blood pressure was routinely hitting 140/90 within 30 minutes of waking, even though she had no known history of hypertension. Once they swapped her breakfast for low-sodium alternatives, rolled oats instead of instant, fresh fruit instead of processed carbs, her readings dropped by 20 points. That kind of change isn't just impressive. It's life-saving. This is where senior home safety becomes more than just avoiding trip hazards or organizing cabinets. It's also about what we're putting in our bodies first thing in the morning, when the brain is still vulnerable. And for seniors downsizing their lifestyle, embracing simplicity, purpose, and peace, it's another reminder that we don't need more to be well. We often need less. Less sodium, less caffeine, less rush. More intention, more breath, more water. This is elderly wisdom and practice. It's not just about aging. It's about aging wisely. It's not about denying yourself pleasures. It's about rearranging them. Placing your health first, especially in the first hour of your day, is an act of self-respect and self-protection. And it doesn't stop there. Ellen's next habit was one that many wouldn't even think twice about. But for her, and many like her, it turned every cup of coffee into a risky ritual. Ellen believed that having coffee on an empty stomach made her more productive. Like many seniors, she thought of it as a quick energy fix, a way to feel alert and ready before breakfast. 2 large mugs of black coffee, taken before a single bite of food. It was her daily rhythm, familiar, efficient, and dangerous. Dr. Henry Caldwell saw the signs immediately. When caffeine enters the system without any buffer, it sends a sharp signal to the adrenal glands. That signal releases adrenaline, a stress hormone that constricts blood vessels and speeds up the heart. In younger people, the body compensates. But in seniors, where arteries are already less elastic, this sudden spike can be overwhelming. It sets off a chain reaction that places unnecessary strain on the brain, heart, and nervous system. This isn't just about avoiding discomfort. This is about senior home safety at the biochemical level. It's about building a morning that protects your most vital systems. Dr. Caldwell recalled another patient, Harold, age 69. He'd visited the emergency room 3 times, convinced he was having a heart attack. Each time, the test came back clean. But every episode happened within an hour of waking. Every episode followed 2 cups of coffee. And every episode followed an empty stomach. The real culprit? Coffee-induced acid reflux, combined with elevated adrenaline and poor blood flow. Once Harold changed his habit, starting his day with a few almonds or half a banana before his first sip, the episodes stopped completely. This wasn't about eliminating coffee. It was about reordering priorities. Elderly wisdom is not about taking things away. It's about learning what your body truly needs, and when it needs it. Dr. Caldwell recommends what he calls the buffer bite. It's small, simple, and strategic. A boiled egg, a slice of avocado, even just a few nuts. This gentle nourishment gives your body a head start, so that caffeine doesn't hit your system like a jolt. It lands like a wave. It's also an act of care. In a lifestyle guided by senior decluttering rules, we learn that simplicity and rhythm matter more than speed. We begin to listen to our bodies the way we've learned to listen to our homes. What needs support? What needs clearing? What is ready to shift? And here's where things get even more subtle, yet even more serious. Many seniors begin their mornings feeling just a little off, a bit of dizziness, a slurred word, a hand that doesn't quite grip right. It clears up quickly, so they brush it off. Just groggy, they say. Just tired. But Dr. Caldwell urges you never ignore these signs. What you're feeling could be a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke, a warning, a signal from your brain that something worse is on the horizon. These symptoms often appear in the first hour after waking, and they vanish just as fast. That's why they're so easy to miss and so dangerous to overlook. Ellen had these moments too. A stumble in her speech, a sense of numbness in one hand. They passed within minutes. But those few minutes could have changed everything. Dr. Caldwell teaches the FAST method, not just to hospitals, but to seniors and their families. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call. Even if it clears, even if it seems small, log the time and date. Contact your doctor. These are not moments to ignore. This is the essence of a healthy aging lifestyle. Being present enough to notice, being brave enough to act, and being wise enough to change what needs changing. Because when you reach 60 and beyond, every habit has power. Every choice ripples through your health, your independence, and your clarity of mind. And it's never too late to choose better, to live lighter, to protect the one asset you cannot replace, your brain. And for those embracing clutter-free living, this clarity becomes part of your home too. You begin to design your mornings like you design your space, with care, simplicity, and intention. You remove what drains you. You keep what sustains you. And you make room for wellness. For Ellen, this shift was a revelation. She no longer viewed her morning as something to rush through, but as something sacred, something vital, something hers. The next habit she changed was one that even her doctor had underestimated at first. It involved the pills she took each morning, ones meant to protect her, but they were quietly working against her. Ellen had been diligent. She never missed a dose. Every morning, she'd line up her medications, blood pressure pills, thyroid, support, a low-dose aspirin, and take them all together, usually with her first cup of coffee. It seemed responsible. It seemed efficient. It also turned out to be risky. Dr. Henry Caldwell took a close look at the timing, the combinations, and the habits built around those pills. What he found was something he sees far too often among seniors: the unintended side effects of well-meaning routines. When you mix caffeine with certain medications, especially blood pressure pills, you can either magnify or mute their effects. Some combinations cause dangerous dips in blood pressure. Others lead to heart palpitations or unsteady balance. Green tea, for example, when taken with beta blockers, can enhance the drug's effect and drop your pressure too low. And when pills are taken all at once, the body often struggles to absorb them properly, especially on an empty stomach or with acidic drinks like coffee. This is where elderly wisdom meets precision. It's not about taking more pills. It's about taking them right. Ruth, another patient of Dr. Caldwell's, was 75 and experiencing mysterious fatigue and lightheadedness within an hour of waking. Her morning readings were dropping below 160s. When they adjusted her routine, spacing her medications out by 30 minutes, using a pill organizer with built-in reminders, and drinking water instead of coffee, her symptoms disappeared. This simple shift also gave Ruth something far greater: confidence. She no longer feared her mornings. She understood her body again. That's what healthy aging lifestyle choices are about: building small, daily victories that restore your independence and dignity. And in the spirit of clutter-free living, even your medicine cabinet deserves attention. Simplify it. Organize it. Remove what you no longer use. Make space for what truly supports your health. That's not just physical decluttering, it's mental and emotional decluttering too. It's declutter regret-free living in action. But Ellen had one more habit to break, one that seemed the least harmful of all. A habit so modern and so common that it raises alarms until you realize what it's doing to your body first thing in the morning. She liked to scroll, lying in bed, phone in hand, checking the news, reading emails, catching up on social media. It felt harmless, comforting, but often she'd feel the urge to use the bathroom and ignore it just a few more minutes of screen time. She didn't want to rush. What she didn't know was that holding in urine after a full night's sleep puts unexpected pressure on the body. The bladder expands. The heart races when you finally get up. And for seniors, especially men dealing with prostate issues or women with weakened pelvic muscles, this habit can lead to sudden blood pressure spikes and even fainting. Dr. Caldwell calls it the silent stressor, one you don't see coming until it's too late. Frank, 68, had been waking with a pounding heartbeat. It always happened after he delayed going to the bathroom. Once he started walking straight to the restroom within 5 minutes of waking, the symptoms eased. Just like that. And if you're waking multiple times at night to urinate, Dr. Caldwell recommends cutting fluids 2 hours before bed and discussing medication timing or prostate concerns with your physician. These aren't small annoyances. They're clues. Your body always speaks. You just have to listen. At its core, this is what senior home safety really means. It's not just grab bars and nightlights. It's knowing how your habits interact with your aging physiology. It's creating mornings that nourish instead of stress. It's designing a space and a rhythm that supports your mind, your memory, and your mobility. By the time Ellen had changed these 7 habits, her entire life shifted. No more dizziness. No more fog. No more silent warnings from her body. Her mornings became a sanctuary, not a battleground. And it started with one small change. For those embracing downsizing tips for seniors and crafting a life of intention, this is your invitation. Begin with your morning. Because the first hour of your day doesn't just set your mood. It determines how well your brain functions, how safely your body moves, and how deeply you can enjoy the years ahead. And if there's one thing Dr. Caldwell teaches above all else, it's this. The most powerful protection comes from the choices you make before the world even knows you're awake. 6 months after her collapse, Ellen sat across from Dr. Henry Caldwell and smiled. Not the polite smile of small talk, but the smile of someone who had reclaimed something precious. I wake up, she told him, and my brain finally feels ready. The fog is gone. The fear is gone. I feel like myself again. That transformation didn't happen with a new prescription or a hospital procedure. It happened through small, intentional acts of care woven into the fabric of her mornings. And those acts began not at sunrise, but the night before. Dr. Caldwell calls it the stroke-safe morning routine. And for seniors over 60, it's not just about living longer. It's about living clearer, steadier, and freer. It's elderly wisdom brought to life. Step 1. Prepare before bed. Set out a glass of water. Preload your pill organizer. Lay out your low-sodium breakfast staples. Because in the fog of morning, decision fatigue is real and dangerous. Simplifying your choices is a core principle of senior decluttering rules. When your environment supports your wellness, you free your mind from unnecessary friction. That's clutter-free living at its finest. Step 2. Follow the 90-second wake-up progression. Deep breathing, gentle flexing of fingers and feet, slowly sitting up, pausing with your feet on the floor, then standing. This rhythm honors your cardiovascular system, gives your brain a chance to catch up, and prevents the dizziness that often masquerades as just getting older. Step 3. Hydrate, then eat, then caffeinate. In that order. Water first, at least 240 milliliters, ideally with a touch of lemon or sea salt. Then a small bite of protein to buffer the effects of caffeine. Only After that, your coffee. And cap it at 1 cup, about 150 milligrams of caffeine. Not 2, not 3. Because even good habits, if overdone, can lose their power. Step 4. Track your patterns. Write down your blood pressure every morning for a week. Note any dizziness, confusion, skipped beats, or numbness. It's not the isolated numbers that matter, it's the trends. It's the subtle shifts that only you can notice because you're paying attention. This is what a healthy aging lifestyle looks like. Presence, patience, and pattern awareness. Step 5. Share this knowledge. Not just with your doctor, but with someone close to you. A spouse, a child, a neighbor. Someone who can watch for the signs if you cannot. Stroke symptoms are often missed in the moment, especially when they come and go. But when someone else knows what to look for, they can speak when you can't. That could save your life. And perhaps the most powerful truth in all this, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change everything overnight. You only need to start. One habit, one choice, one morning. That is the quiet revolution of elderly wisdom. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It builds. Day by day. Moment by moment. So, I'll ask you now, what's the one habit you'll change tomorrow? Will you drink water first? Will you slow down before getting out of bed? Will you stop brushing off that moment of dizziness or slurred speech? Whatever it is, commit to it. And type the number in the comments below. Then share this video with someone who needs it. Because your small decision might save 2 lives, yours and someone you love. If this video brought you clarity, peace, or a sense of purpose, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, Inspired Living. Turn on notifications so each new strategy finds its way into your morning when you need it most. Remember this, stroke prevention isn't about fear. It's about wisdom. It's about choosing to honor your body, to listen to it, and to protect it, not out of panic, but out of love. Protect your morning. Protect your brain. And let your life keep unfolding with intention, with strength, and with the grace that comes from truly knowing what matters. If there's one truth that echoes through Dr. Henry Caldwell's years of caring for seniors, it's this. Most of what harms us isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's ordinary. It's routine. And because it feels familiar, we let it stay. But for those walking the path of healthy aging, the goal isn't to fear routine. It's to refine it. Because the first hour of your morning shapes every hour that follows. It shapes how you think, how you move, how you feel. And for those over 60, it can also shape whether or not your brain is being protected or left vulnerable. When Ellen first heard that her mornings were putting her brain at risk, she felt disbelief. But when she looked closer at how fast she stood up, how often she skipped water, how much sodium was packed into her breakfast, how her medications interacted with coffee, how she brushed off symptoms, and how she delayed going to the bathroom, it all began to make sense. She didn't need a new diagnosis. She needed a new rhythm. That's what elderly wisdom gives us. The grace to pause. The clarity to ask better questions. The courage to choose better, even when no one is watching. And it's also what makes this message so urgent to share. Because while we speak often about decluttering our homes, removing the old clothes, the forgotten boxes, the unnecessary furniture, we don't always speak about the other kind of clutter. The behavioral clutter, the unhealthy patterns, the noise in our routines that no longer serve us. This video is an invitation to declutter regret-free, to release what harms you without even realizing it, and to embrace what steadies you mentally, physically, emotionally. That's what a healthy aging lifestyle truly looks like. It isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about home organization after 60, not just for your space, but for your inner world, for your mornings, for your brain. As you move forward, know that you are not alone. Thousands of seniors are taking these steps, one by one. Choosing hydration, choosing calm, choosing to read their symptoms as messages, not annoyances. Choosing to slow down in a world that never taught them how. And maybe that's what makes this shift so profound. It isn't flashy. It won't go viral, but it will change lives. It already has done, so if you found even one habit today that you'll look at differently tomorrow, I want to thank you. You're honoring the years behind you and protecting the years ahead. You're practicing the truest form of self-respect. Care in the quiet moments. Now, before you go, take one more step. Hit like if this message resonated with you. Subscribe to this channel, Inspired Living, so you never miss a guide to keeping your mind and body strong. Turn on the bell so the wisdom keeps finding you on the mornings you need it most. And most importantly, share this video with someone you love. Someone whose routine could use a little kindness, a little attention, a little wisdom, because the habits we change together can ripple further than we imagine. Your mornings matter. Your brain matters. And you have more control than you think. Thank you for giving yourself the time to listen. Now go give your morning the care it deserves. It may just be the kindest thing you do for your future. Protect your morning, protect your brain, and protect the beautiful life you've worked so hard to build.